everybody? We are finally back. We're your hosts. I'm Matt.
And I'm Trey.
It has been 5 months, I think.
It's been a long time.
Since the podcast. We did not mean to take a break this long, but it just so happened that way. So we're just going to talk about what's been going on in our lives ever since the last podcast. And we're married now. Oh, shoot. I don't have my ring.
I do. I'm married. She's not.
I got a shower. I don't wear it at night. So I already got my shower.
Cool.
I'm still married. Stop. Every time I don't have my ring on, he's like, oh, you're not married.
She doesn't like to wear that thing. She doesn't like to be married.
I don't think it works like that.
We got a dog, by the way. His name is Reggie.
Hey, buddy. Yeah, so if he's squeaking his toys or just all in the camera, just ignore him. Just kidding. He's so cute. Just look at him. But anyways, okay, so April 14th, I don't even remember what's happening. I guess I was finishing up school and you were teaching and everything back in Knoxville. So we were still like doing long distance at this point in time. And then we got married June 11th. And so we decided as a couple that we were going to take a month off of social media leading up to the wedding to just, I think we did a devotional together or something like that. And just to focus on the wedding and focus on our marriage. And we did a book. I remember we did a book, like a marriage book. I don't know what it was called. And we would do that and just so that we weren't distracted and we had our hearts set on our marriage and on the Lord. So that was
a really good book.
Yeah, what was it called?
I have no idea.
Okay, we'll have to post those in the comments. But yes, we didn't exactly finish it because we started a little late and we got married within 6 months. But it was really good. It asked some deep questions and I highly suggest it. But let's see. I graduated. Do you know when I graduated?
At the beginning of May.
Beginning of May. Okay, so beginning of May, I graduated. We bought a house in Knoxville, and I had to move my stuff from my apartment in Johnson City to Knoxville, like the day and the day after I packed up the day before I graduated, and then on the day I graduated, we drove down here with the U-Haul. My parents were up there. Drove down to Knoxville with a U-Haul and unloaded everything. Were you already moved in at that point?
Yeah, I'd been living in here since like the middle/end of April, and then went up and saw you. You literally walked across the stage. It was at ETSU in the mini dome. Walked across the stage and then out the door, like immediately out the door. We took some pictures, and then we drove straight to Knoxville and unpacked.
Yeah, it was crazy. But I feel like that's what this whole year's been crazy.
It has been a lot, that's for sure.
So my sister, my brother, and me, we all got married within 7-8 months. And then my brother just had a baby, him and his wife. And then my sister is pregnant and she's due in like 2 months. It's just been a crazy time for our whole family. We've had tons of stuff to do. And then with our wedding, so we'll get back to that. After I graduated, I don't know, I dropped my stuff off here and then I went back to Hanahan, South Carolina, Charleston basically for, the rest of the time up until the wedding. Yeah.
Until the wedding.
So maybe like a month. And so we were doing, 5 hours apart. We didn't see each other, right, that whole month. So it was good we were doing the book and staying connected through FaceTime.
That's basically it. We FaceTimed, and that's all that we saw until we got to St. Augustine.
Yeah, but I feel like it was good because it kind of, I guess, made us miss each other more leading up to the wedding, and then we saw each other. I think we got there a couple days before the wedding to St. Augustine, Florida. Then it was good to just see each other, and it made the wedding even more exciting, I feel like.
The wedding was fun. I had a great time.
We just did a small, intimate wedding. We had 50 people. It was mostly family, a few friends, and I wanted to do a destination wedding because I didn't want to have it in Charleston. I didn't want to have like 300 people at my wedding if I did it in Charleston, and then everybody goes to Charleston for their wedding. And I don't know, I want to do it somewhere different.
And Knoxville just wasn't in in the picture. It was just not going to happen. So St. Augustine, I mean, I don't really know how we even got to St. Augustine, but it was amazing. It was really good. I liked it.
Yeah, it was beautiful. I don't know. I just didn't want to do it in Knoxville.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to be near the coast, but I just didn't want it to be in Charleston. I just like doing stuff different, so it was fun. But I also looked for an all-inclusive wedding venue, and so the wedding venue that I was at, it was St. John's Golf and Country Club. It overlooked the golf course and had like this big pond in the back, so it was an outside ceremony. Then the reception was inside. But anyways, I just had a stroke. They took care of almost everything. They did the food. They had like a day of coordinator. What else?
And set up,
Clean up, yeah.
Those are the biggest things. Is they set everything up, and then they took everything down, so nobody had to worry about that, which was great. And they did all the food too, and the food was delicious.
Yeah, they had a private chef there. Oh, linens and chairs, tables, all that stuff. So I didn't want to have to worry about that, especially coming from Charleston. So that's actually how I found it. I was looking online, like all-inclusive places in Florida, or where to have your intimate wedding, and came across that place. And yeah, it was good. And then the next morning, we
were in the airport at 8 a.m. ready to fly to Jamaica.
Yes. And that took, how long did that take?
Well, going there was fine. We went, I mean, it's the airport, so you're going to wait in some lines, but we got through everything fine. All the flights were fine. Coming back was a different story. But going there was fine.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that in a minute. So we get to Jamaica. What was the place we landed in called?
Montego Bay. Montego Bay.
Same thing. I'm just kidding.
Montego Bay.
Montego Bay. And then we had to drive like an hour, 45 minutes on a... Were we in a bus?
It was a charter bus.
Charter bus to...
Ocho Rios.
I'm going blank. Yeah, Ocho Rios. And that's the Sandals Resort we went to. And what did you think of the Sandals Resort in Ocho Rios?
I thought it was cool. It was weird because apparently, I mean, I've never been to a Sandals Resort before, but apparently they're like most of them you would think are just like the resort. This one was actually split into like two parts, and they were both like kind of different from one another. They had like they went together, but they had like a little bit different things on each one. Like one of them had like a beach and a pool, and the other one was just pools but had like some other stuff. I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was fun. The best part was just the food being, I mean, you didn't have to worry about paying anybody, tipping anybody. Besides, we accidentally booked a butler suite, so we had a butler, so we tipped them, but everybody else, you didn't have to worry about tipping. You prepaid ahead of time. And I liked all you can eat food.
Yes,
all inclusive with the food. Yeah, that was good. We got some tanning in for sure. Mm-hmm. And then I don't know.
We just chilled and relaxed the whole time. I mean,
yeah.
That was basically like all you did. You woke up. First of all, the only bad thing is, I mean, it is Jamaica, so it's gonna be hot, but like the room was ridiculously hot.
That's right, I forgot about that.
The room was ridiculously hot, which apparently that was different because some of the other people that we met there, we talked to, and their rooms were like freezing cold, but ours was miserably hot the whole time. But you know, whatever, we're on an island in the Caribbean. So.
But then it broke.
Yes.
The AC broke like, what, I don't know, a few days before we left.
Fourth day in, we stayed there for like 6 days. The fourth day in, it breaks, and so like it's like actually like super hot. Like it's not just like uncomfortably hot. Like we're sitting there just sweating. Mm-hmm. It was awful.
You're outside sweating, inside sweating. Like no matter where you go, you were just sweating
the whole time.
Yes, and I love the hot, but it was just that's a different type of hot, like the island type of hot. That's just different.
And like you'd think like going to the beach or sitting on the pool, that's fine. But like when you go to the restaurants, you think, okay, we're gonna go inside, eat inside. All of the restaurants were outside, So you just sweated at dinner too, and you just it was a mess.
Yes.
It was a mess.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess the only thing that I would say that I didn't like about it was, like he was saying, it was split up in two sides, so we did have to take they call it the hop. It was like a little trolley bus thingy from one side to the other if we wanted to go to these restaurants or go to the pool side versus the beach side or whatever. So that was the only thing, but I definitely would try different sandals out because I've heard people really like them when they're all together and you don't have to take the hop from one side to the other. But it was a great time. And then we also went to Dunn's River Falls. Everybody was telling us, you gotta go to Dunn's River Falls, you gotta go there. So it's just this big waterfall and you hike up it, you're holding arms. You make like a human chain and then you go up. It was a little scary at times, but I thought like people were about to just fall down this waterfall. We didn't, we survived.
It was cool, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, got some good pictures. And then on the way back, I'll let you take this one.
Oh my goodness. So apparently there was like, so like we didn't know, like we're completely out of the loop in Jamaica. So apparently there's like tropical storms in like Florida where we're like flying into. So we have to go an hour and a half back to get to the airport in Montego Bay. And so we're in the Jamaican airport waiting, and our flight was supposed to leave at like noon or something like that.
I feel like it was even later.
Maybe it was like 2.
2, I think.
It was like 2.
But the charter was at 9.
Yes, so the charter was at 9. So we got to the airport at like 10:30, and we didn't fly out until 2. So we were already there for like 3.5 hours before our flight was supposed to leave. You know, whatever is what it is. Well, then there were tropical storms all around Florida, so we couldn't fly out. Our flight kept getting delayed and delayed and delayed.
Wait,
and
no.
delayed. No, wait, those were there were mechanical issues. There was
issues.
mechanical issues with the plane that was supposed to come get us. And so it just kept getting delayed and delayed and delayed and delayed, and it finally got there at like 10 o'clock at night. And so we didn't get to where are we flying to Miami?
Our connecting flight, from Miami. I think it left at like 9.
Yeah, so we didn't get to Miami until like midnight, and there's no one in the airport. It was kind of weird.
No workers even.
Yeah, like
barely any workers.
There were
anywhere.
barely any workers, and so we walked and finally found the American Airlines place, and they got us set up in a hotel. They gave us tickets for the next day, food vouchers. And we thought we were all set. Like, you know, we were good. We're back in the United States, which is great. So then we get there the next day, and it is a torrential downpour. And all of the flights kept getting delayed and canceled and delayed and canceled. And so we were on a flight to... Where were we even flying to?
We were going to go to Knoxville originally. But then we missed that flight. Well, they didn't have another flight to Knoxville from Miami until 9 the next night. Mm-hmm. So there was one that was earlier, I don't know, around lunchtime, and it was going to Asheville. So we were just going to go to Asheville and then have his parents pick us up or just rent a car or something back to Knoxville because it's only, an hour and a half?
Yeah.
Something like that. Close. I mean, he had to get to practice the day after that. So we were like, we don't want to fly in at 9 o'clock at night, and then if the storm's still going on, they're sitting here telling everybody, your flights aren't going to leave today at all. Like, flights are not leaving from this airport in Miami because the storm is so bad. I mean, the trees were they were everywhere. And, so we were flying to Asheville.
The flight to Asheville got canceled. So then we get in this line that was like 2 hours long. And so we're waiting in this line trying to figure out what's going to happen with our tickets. And so we are trying, when we finally get to talk to the person, we ask her and see if we can switch our ticket to the flight to Knoxville that was leaving at like 9 o'clock that night, because that was our only hope to fly out that day. And we thought that we were going to get switched onto that flight, but then somehow... It didn't work out. Like, they said that we had to get in touch because we did it through like credit card miles. So they said that we had to get in touch with the credit card company because they were causing a problem But then we got in touch with a credit card company and said that they have no control over it. And so that lady, after about 20 or 30 minutes, just had enough of us. And so she was like, yeah, you're getting booked on tickets for the next day. So
to Asheville.
To Asheville for the next day.
Would not move us to the Knoxville flight for some reason.
No, would not. And so I'm like, Mackenzie, like, I need to be at practice. Like,
and your practice was what, 8 the next morning?
It was at 8 a.m. the next morning. So we make the bold decision that we are going to rent a car. And this is like at 5 p.m. We're going to rent a car and drive 13 hours from Miami to Knoxville, Tennessee. Yeah, that was a bold decision, to say the least.
It is definitely a story to tell. We were like, this will be a great story, our disaster ending of a honeymoon. But I feel like it always goes down that way.
Yeah, it is a good story, but we got a Toyota 4Runner, yeah, and we drove 13 hours to Knoxville, Tennessee, and I was pretty much on time to practice.
It was fun. Yeah, you were probably a zombie. He drove most of the way. He wouldn't let me drive but like an hour.
I let her drive like the last hour and a half because I just could not.
Yeah, and I kept going, like, you need me to drive, you need me to drive. And I tried, I think I stayed up most of the time with you. No, just kidding. Just kidding. I take that back. I tried.
She did. She tried about as hard as she could, but it did not.
I tried, and then I think, kept falling asleep. We did stop at Dunkin' about 3 times. They had one on every exit. It was like a Dunkin'.
Oh, in Florida? There's Dunkins everywhere. And, like, they're, like, on the interstate. Like, you don't have to, like, get off an exit and drive on roads. Like, you can just, like, get off, go to, like, the gas station and Dunkin' Donuts, and then just get right back on the interstate. It's like a pit stop.
Yeah, it's like a rest. It's like a rest.
It's like a rest area. But
And
there's a
everywhere.
bunch of them all the way through Florida. It's amazing.
Every minute. So yeah, I think he got maybe 3 frozen coffees, and he doesn't even drink coffee.
A lot of frozen coffee.
And that's what we had for dinner, Dunkin'. I mean, it was the only thing open too. And anyways, I didn't start driving until it was light outside again. I remember I was like, well, this is crazy. But they told us, I mean, no flights are leaving. And then I'm sitting here checking on my phone. The flight from Miami to Knoxville that we originally were going to go on, and they wouldn't switch us to, it left. And they landed in Knoxville that night at like 11. No, I mean, it kept getting delayed too, but then they finally left. So I was a little angry about that. But whatever, it was a very fun time. Had some recovering to do the next day. Well, you especially.
To say the least.
Because you went to practice and didn't get back for hours. Then we had to return the rental car, so we were still out and about for forever. But anyway, so then we get back to Knoxville.
It is Tuesday, and then when I go to practice on Tuesday that same day, go to practice Wednesday, go to practice Thursday. And did we leave on Thursday after practice?
I think we did.
Yep. Thursday after practice, we drove to Hanahan, her house, because on Friday we drove to Florida again, back to Florida because
Jacksonville, I think.
Because we left on Saturday.
Oh, no, not Jacksonville.
Port Canaveral.
Orlando. Yeah, Port Canaveral.
Yeah, we drove to Orlando, and then because on Saturday we left out of Port Canaveral for a cruise, 7-day cruise.
Yes.
Back in Florida.
With my family. So we were here a couple of days, and what we were gonna do was we were gonna drive to my house. We stayed the night there. It was about a 6-hour drive, and then from there to Florida, I think it was like 6 hours. Also, so just to break it up. But my parents were gonna drive us to Port Canaveral so that we didn't have to drive again because we were done driving. I was done like riding in the car because he still wouldn't let me drive. You think I'm a bad driver?
Okay. So, a quick interlude. So we ended up having to drive from your house to Orlando to Cape Canaveral. We ended up having to drive there.
Yeah, my mom got sick, and so she didn't end up being able to come on the trip. She's okay, but...
And her dad stayed back with her mom, obviously.
Yes.
So we ended up having to drive again. But on the way from Knoxville to her house, the nagging had reached a fever pitch. And I was done. I said, I'm done. I'm not driving anymore. You can just drive if you're going to be like this.
I forgot. Because I'm like, stop!
Yeah, she sits there and just tries to tell me what to do. And so I'm like, I'm done. I'm not driving anymore. So the next day, I'm ready to just sit in that passenger seat and just chill out. And she was not having any of that. She would not drive.
No, because I'm like, oh no, I really made him mad.
She would not drive.
Really made him, I forgot all about that.
Yeah, so she talks all about, he won't let me drive. He won't let me drive. She don't want to drive.
Nah, not really. Not really. I was tired of riding the car, but I also didn't want to drive.
It was fun. It ended up working out.
So we got there. Yeah, went on a trip. This cruise had been planned for a couple years. We went on the Carnival Mardi Gras, the really big ship. It was lots of fun, and it was us, some of my cousin, aunts, uncles, and then my sister, her husband, and their kid, and a whole week. We went. Where did we go?
We went
was a
to
Caribbean one.
like Costa Maya.
Oh, Honduras.
Honduras.
Is that Costa Maya? Is that the same
I
thing?
don't know. We went to a couple places in Mexico.
Oh yeah.
And then
Mexico.
one of the islands out there.
Oh, Isla Roton
Yeah,
I'm
there we
saying
go.
that so wrong.
There
Probably
we
that
go.
was Honduras, and then the Mexico places. Those two of them, and then got back, and then we did the same thing on the way back. We stopped at my parents' house. Well, drove 6-ish hours. Stopped at my parents' house, stayed the night, then drove back here, and then what you had dead week that week, right?
Yeah, that was the dead period, and then I started practice back. We got back Sunday, I guess, right?
Yeah, I think so.
And then I had practice on Monday.
So it was crazy. And then I hadn't unpacked any of my stuff yet because we just had to drop it here because I had to move out of my apartment. So I had tons of boxes. The house was a mess. I had to put everything up. And so that's what I started working on, and that took forever because we don't have a ton of storage space. And so I have a lot of cooking stuff, and so I was figuring out
That's the understatement of the century. When we were, we have a decent amount of cabinet space, and it was just overflowing with her stuff. It was overflowing.
Yeah, Trey had 2 boxes of his whole life with him, and then I come in here and everything's mine.
Everything. This
I
whole
blow it
place.
up.
We're gonna have to do a house tour at some point.
Yes. So that's another thing.
And we'll just show all of your crap.
It's not crap. I cook a lot, okay? So, and I like to bake. So I need lots of cooking stuff. So I can make you food, of course.
Of course.
Yeah, that's why I need it, so I can make you food. Yeah, we'll have to definitely do a house tour sometime. We're fixing, so we got this house, and it was just remodeled, but we're doing a few things to fix it up, and then we're going to sell it and hopefully make some money off it, and then we're moving again.
We're moving again, hopefully around February, to a new house, a brand new house.
Yes. It just started getting built. There we go. What, 2-3 weeks ago?
Almost a month ago now.
Was it? So they have the
It's the 11th. So.
cinder blocks around it, of the frame, and then the gravel inside and the electrical thing sticking up. I keep going and walking Reggie by it every day so we can look at it. But I don't know what's going on now in our lives.
She finally got a job, thank God.
Oh, yes.
That was a saga, the job hunt. But she finally got a job now. I'm still teaching like normal. Love my job.
You're lying.
But I'm coaching. I'm coaching football, which I do really enjoy. So
Just not
That's
the teaching
good.
part.
Not the teaching part. Hate the teaching part. But it seems like most teachers hate the teaching part, so.
Yeah. With my job, okay, so, oh no, should I tell the story?
I don't think it'll end well if you tell the story.
Okay, if you're curious about my first job story, just let me know in the comments. But there was I'll just sum it
The
up.
short version.
Short version, yeah. So I started this job, and turned out, I mean, I had an interview months ago because I wanted a job prepared before I got married. So this was like March, April. I got a job in Knoxville, and seemed like a great place to be. I was working for this nonprofit. So I start the job middle of July. Ends up, it was a scam. And this lady was stealing money from me. And not like she was not giving me how much I was supposed to have on my paycheck. And wouldn't tell me where the money was. Anyways, I got my money back. But it was a scam. There was like people quitting every day. It was really bad. I was like, this needs to be a movie. I don't know how we got here. Anyways, I quit like 2 weeks into it, and because it was just that bad. And it was, I mean, I've never seen so many people quit from a job, but I don't know how that was even, how she's still out there having a fake company. Anyway, so with my master's,
That was back in like July.
yeah.
Like at the end of July.
Yeah. It was crazy. And so then I went on the job hunt again. And I'm like, okay, well, I know what to ask now, and I know how to make sure it's a legitimate company. And so I thought with my MBA, I'd be able to get a job in like a week, because I've always heard, you know, don't quit unless you have another job lined up. But it was just, I mean, I'm not working for somebody who's taking money from people, and it's crazy like that. And ended up being, what is it now?
Like a month and a half.
Month and a half till I finally found a job that I was interested in, that was legitimate, and I don't know, that took me with no experience. I guess the thing now is you need to have 2 years of experience. Well, I couldn't have 2 years of experience because I played softball in college. So that was a struggle for me. And we've been, living on a teacher's salary, so
Yeah, that's been tight.
he's been holding the fort down.
That's been tight.
Yeah, but I will say, you pointed this out, that even though we're struggling and stuff, like, the Lord has provided for us.
Yes. Yeah, we've somehow found a way, by the grace of God, found a way to make it work off not a lot of money.
Yes, that's okay. We're not worldly rich. We're rich in Jesus, okay?
Definitely not worldly rich, but rich in Jesus.
Yes. So I start my job next month, and I fly to Miami for a week of training, and it is a remote job, so they'll give me like monitors and a phone and computer or laptop, whatever, and all kind of stuff. And I'm doing healthcare staffing. It's like a sales position, but it's working with a bunch of different hospitals and helping them to staff their positions. And so I'm excited about that, and I know you're excited for
I'm
that.
very excited about that.
Yes, but we did find a church up here finally. We've been trying for a long time.
Yeah, basically since we got back in July.
We've been looking for different churches, but finally found one that I think is good for us. And I got involved in a women's Bible study. So that's something I was looking for. I don't really know anybody in Knoxville, so it's been kind of hard not knowing anybody. And then he's practicing and teaching and all that, and I've just been jobless. So I've got to get involved with that, which is good. And then adopting a dog was good too.
That was very good.
We adopted him. We were here a couple weeks, and my car just randomly drove itself to the animal shelter, and he was at a golf tournament, and I kind of looked at a few animal shelters, and I found this dog named Reggie who had super blue eyes and was the cutest thing ever. And then,
Husky mix.
I know. I sent pictures to Trey, And he goes, and I wasn't going to get a dog without his permission. I don't know. I mean, that's the right thing to do. And he goes, why didn't you get him? So he comes home from his golf tournament. This is Saturday. And he's like, you need to go get him tomorrow. So I drove back to the animal shelter. First thing as it opened up, because he's so cute. And I'm like, he's going to be gone if I'm not there right as the doors open. And there was like 3 other people in line. And I jumped right in there. And I'm like, is Reggie still here? And they said yes. So I adopted him. We adopted him. But he got super attached to me because Trey was away at a golf tournament all day that day still. And so he just like clung to me that day. But he loves Trey too.
He does. He slept on my chest like a baby yesterday.
He did.
And it was so cute.
He is a little baby. We have to show him. Come here.
He's asleep. He's a sleepy boy.
He's okay. He has eaten the blinds and he eats his toys, like swallows them.
He's a little baby.
Eats a lot of other things, but that's okay. He's really smart.
He is very smart. He's also a baby, so.
Yes, he is. He's 8 months, I think. 8 months.
7, 8.
Yeah, and he was super skinny when we got him. He's still skinny, but he's finally gained weight now. They think he had parasites, so he was having a hard time gaining weight. And finally, we got rid of those. And he had some mange around his eye that developed a few weeks after we got him. So he had to get rid of that, and he's finally gaining some weight, which is good. So we love him.
Yes, a lot.
Yes. Well, do we have anything else going on exciting or anything at all in our life?
No,
Is that the full life update?
That's the full life update.
So that's our full life update.
Cool.
And we will start doing podcasts every other week now. We were doing every week, and then
Very stressful.
I don't know. Yeah, it was very stressful, and I think it's because we were planning for the wedding and 5 hours away for a whole month, so it got really hard. And then moving back in, I don't know. Everything just got kind of crazy. So I think right now we're gonna do every other week, and
We might reevaluate in a little bit, but for now we're gonna start every other week.
yeah, and see how that goes. But stay tuned for more podcasts coming out in 2 weeks.